I've been trying to alter things about my microphone to make the audio a little bit better.
Oh, yeah.
And so I did change the gain settings on it and put like a foam filter over it to try to take care of, some plosives and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
But
Those are always fun.
I just barely did a call with Susan and found that in listening to just a sec of it, I found pretty quickly that because I'm so close to the mic now, there was a lot of breath noise. There's a lot of me just nose breathing right on the microphone. So,
Oh, yeah.
so
Those sounds are never fun,
I can't stand them. I'll tell you what.
especially when you're recording music or something. It's
Yeah,
always great.
talk to me about that, Emily. You're a music major. Was it commercial music? Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
What's that all about? What's special about commercial music compared to general music?
So, commercial music is like, trying to think how to describe it. So, BYU has a composition program,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of more like, I guess, technical, like art composition. Some of it was kind of like weird, like new art stuff, kind of.
Are we talking like paper clips on the piano strings kind of stuff?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. So I took some of those classes and learned some good stuff, but also it was just kind of a little bit weird. So I started looking around a little bit more, and the commercial music program is specifically like composing and recording and that kind of thing, more normal music.
Sure, sure.
So, yeah, so like film scoring, or I've written music for a few plays. Uh,
You
yeah,
wrote you wrote a jig for that concert that we did. When the last concert we were able to do was in 2018 because of the or wait, no, it was 2019, huh? It was then this year that the corona didn't let us do our St. Patrick's Day concert for the band.
right, yeah.
Was it 2019 that we did it at that church, or am I thinking of the wrong
Hmm.
year? But you wrote a jig, didn't you call it the Little Green Jig?
Yeah, that was Jeff's idea, yeah.
That's a good name for it. I like that. Do you have a
It was fun.
recording of that jig? Didn't you send one for me to listen to?
I do somewhere, yeah.
We could, well, if you, only if you wanted. I usually have just like either I got Mike Swan playing bagpipes or just the sound of drones as an intro or outro for these interviews. We could trail out as the outro. It could be your jig.
Okay,
That could be fun, huh?
yeah.
All right. So what if you could choose any, like, of course part of music is that you love doing it, but then if you can make a living at it, that's great too. If you could pick an existing vocation related to music, film scoring, or like music therapy, any kind of thing, what are you drawn to right now? What are you most interested in?
Um, that's a good question. I'm still trying to figure that out. But, I mean, composing is fun when it goes well.
Sure.
So it can be kind of stressful when it's not going well. Um, there are lots of music libraries online that you can submit music to. So you basically write what you want to write, and then people can buy that from you online.
Hmm.
So that seems interesting. Playing bagpipes is fun. Um, Doing bagpipe gigs is fun. I haven't done as much of that with coronavirus going on, but
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
I think
all good,
composing
right?
Celtic music is a lot of fun.
Yeah. What other instruments do you like? I'm sure you play a lot of instruments. But like sort of your go-tos. What are some of your favorites that you like to, if you're just gonna sit down and play around on something?
Bagpipes are pretty good. Uh,
Yeah.
Bagpipes are really fun. I got small pipes a few months ago.
Oh,
Those are really
exciting.
fun to just kind of mess around with.
What kind of small pipes did you get?
McCallum, I think it
Yeah,
was.
McCallum. Are they polypenco or are they Blackwood?
They're Blackwood.
Fancy.
They're fun. The tax refund that I got was just about enough to cover those, and I was pretty happy about that. So
Perfect.
that was good. Um, Penny whistles also really fun. There are a couple penny whistles online I found for like the pair was like $10 or something like that, and they sound really good. They're plastic, but they sound like wood.
Where are they tuned differently, like a D and an A or something like that?
Yeah, one of them's a D and one of them's a C.
Oh, cool.
They have like different tone qualities too. The C one is darker, and then the D one is like the brighter, happier tone. So
Awesome.
they're fun to play. It's the Woody whistles on Amazon for like $10 or something.
Oh, well, I have to check that out. I like to do a little whistling myself now and again.
Yeah.
I don't think I used to have a C whistle, but it was one of those that has a wood block to make up the fipple.
Mm-hmm.
And those, they have an interesting sound, but I found them to be, like, they suck so much air out of your lungs. Like, it takes a lot of work to make it through anything. They're just very, very breathy. Which, if you're looking for a breathy sound, great, right?
Yeah, but a lot of the time you're not looking for a breathy sound.
Right, exactly. Didn't I see that you'd gotten one? Maybe it was a while ago. You got one of those like guitar style dulcimers.
Yeah.
What's the company that does those? Is it Seagull Guitars that's doing those?
Yeah.
Those look cool. Was that fun to play around on?
It is really fun to play around on. Yeah, it's really nice and easy. It's just got, it's got the lower D string and then a higher D string and then an A string in the middle. So it's just all the way up and down the fretboard is just fifths and octave. So it's really easy to figure out like where the notes are that you want to play. It's not like a guitar where all 6 of the string, well, I guess 5 of the strings are different. 2 of the strings are E.
Yeah, but I do agree with you that like I love playing on anything that's dulcimer like because it's like you can't really make anything that sounds bad because it's all thirds and fifths. Like you just kind of can play around. Yeah. And honestly, I probably haven't messed on nearly as many instruments as you have, but what I found is that things like mandolin and banjo usually have relatively reasonable, tuning. What would you say? Like the different notes that each string plays naturally. It's open tuning is like something that seems at least sensible. Mm-hmm. But guitar just baffles me.
Yeah.
It's like I've learned chords, but it's like I've only learned the positions. I don't actually understand why is it tuned this way? I'd like to know who did this.
Yeah. Well, and with the 6 strings and with them all being so different, it's even if you do know the chords, it's hard to reach them or yeah, especially with my fingers. I don't think I have great fingers for guitar, but
great fingers for bagpipes.
Yeah, it works.
What got you into it, Emily? I love the fact that and I don't want you to ever feel locked in or stuck or anything, but you came to the bagpipe class that Garden Valley Pipe Band did, or still does, well, pending Corona. And is that the first time you started learning bagpipes, or had you started learning otherwise?
Yeah, that was the first time.
And if I remember right, you started one year, and the next summer, you were the pipe major for the grade 5 band at competition. Is that right?
So, yeah. Maybe it was the summer after that. I'm trying to remember.
You know what? It's impressive either way. What do you think? What do you think? I mean, you don't have to be modest about this. You don't have to brag. I'm going to brag for you, okay? You learned bagpipes very quickly, and not just like kind of like basically learned them. Like you got pretty dang good, pretty dang fast. What do you think contributed to that?
So I was a music major at BYU for a while before that, playing clarinet, which is kind of similar to bagpipes. I mean, obviously it doesn't have the bag, the breathing is a lot different, that kind of thing, but the fingering is a lot the same. And you're also used to blowing into an instrument quite a bit, and so I think all that helped the bagpipes to come a lot faster than they would otherwise.
That makes sense. I've had some students who were previous saxophone players that also picked it up pretty quickly. I think there's something to that like finger dexterity that carries over.
Well, and the scale's pretty similar too.
Oh, is it? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's different note names, but just the way that it goes up.
I see. And
then bagpipes don't have all the accidentals, the sharps and flats and stuff, which is nice.
Yeah.
Focus on other things like the articulation, like the finger movements on bagpipes that you don't have on other instruments.
Right, all those embellishments and everything. Now, it can be nice. Do you ever find yourself wishing, though, that you did have, like just a key here or there on your chanter so you could get a C natural in there if you wanted to, stuff like that?
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Yeah. I've seen
Make
some pipe
minor
makers
things a
that,
little bit easier to play.
yeah, I've seen that there are some pipe makers that make they'll make a chanter and add a little tiny hole on the side and a key so you can open and close it for a flat or a sharp here and there. Or a natural, as it were, for accidentals.
That could be kind of nice.
Yeah, I've never tried one before, but I know they exist. Wouldn't it be cool to rig up a whole band with it? I don't know if you could get consistent tuning for a whole band, though. Who knows?
It'd be interesting if you could, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Emily, what brought you to the bagpipes? What have you always wanted to play? Do you have a first memory of hearing them and what that experience was like?
So I'd never really thought very much about playing the bagpipes. I'd seen people playing them, like in parades and stuff, but then I also saw the marching band and thought that was more what I would probably do.
Mm-hmm.
I did do marching band for a few years in high school and 1 year in college. But then my family's been really into the Nauvoo pageant. We've been in the family cast a couple times, and they have a bagpipe band out there. I was in the Nauvoo brass band playing clarinet 1 year in 2011, and we kind of saw the bagpipe band just around Nauvoo. And I thought that was pretty cool. Didn't really think, excuse me.
Yeah, no worries.
Didn't really think very much about it. And then 1 year, my family applied for the Nauvoo pageant, but we didn't actually get in. So we just went to watch it. And afterwards, sometimes people from the cast will come around and talk to audience members about their experience with the pageant and that kind of thing. Usually the bagpipe band people don't do that as much as the family cast, but sometimes they'll still go around and talk to people. Chuck Ackland was walking around.
Yeah, I know Chuck. He's a
Chuck's
great
I
guy.
love Chuck.
Yeah.
And he saw my mom and started talking to her after the pageant. She was just in the audience. We weren't in the cast that year.
Mm-hmm.
And they struck up a conversation, and Mom started, I don't know how they got talking about this exactly, but I mean, I guess he was a bagpiper. It probably kind of made sense. Oh,
yeah.
But they started talking about how our family kind of tends to be into like music and fine arts and stuff. And Chuck started talking to my mom about how, yeah, I'm going to let my dog out real quick.
Oh, sure, no worries.
Just open up my door. There you go, bud. He must have heard something dangerous outside.
Yeah, let him go tear that enemy apart.
Right. He's like 5 pounds, so...
Yeah, I've seen pictures of your dog. He's a ferocious little beast.
Right. He thinks he is anyway. But so Chuck started talking to my mom about how they could use more bagpipers for the Nauvoo pipe band, and since we were a musical family, she should have some of her kids learn pipes.
Mm-hmm.
And she just thought, okay, well, I'll pass that on, whatever.
Hey, way to go, Chuck! Evangelizing, right? It's like this. It's a church thing, but he's what he's spreading is the good news of bagpiping.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good bagpiping evangelist, that Chuck.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems like a pretty good description. But so Mom told me about it, and I thought, that sounds interesting. Never really thought about that before.
Yeah.
And it just felt like a really good thing. It felt right. So when I got home, I started kind of looking online for bagpipe teachers and emailing people. I emailed the old Payson High School teacher.
Oh yeah, that was probably
Bagpipe
Carrie Walton or Welton. What in the world?
Maybe I don't remember her name.
How did I just? Oh well, I guess it could have been Leanne's older sister, Deanne. Oh my goodness.
I think that's who it was. Yeah.
You know, I went to Payson High School and Carrie was my leader, and I've known Deanne as well, but now all of a sudden when I couldn't say Welton or Walton, I couldn't remember what her last name was. Now all of a sudden I feel unsure about Deanne as well, but it is Deanne, right?
I think so. Is it Deanne Thomas?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway, Yeah, so I emailed, I think it was her, and got a response back saying, hey, actually, I'm not the teacher here anymore, but I can refer you to the lady who is.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty soon, I got an email from Diana
Mm-hmm.
saying, hey, we're actually starting a new bagpipe band, and we're going to be giving free lessons starting, like, next month. Are you interested? And I'd been thinking, because I was a college student at the time and was thinking about how am I going to pay for this? How am I
Right.
going to
Yeah.
pay for a set of bagpipes and lessons and everything? And so, and I heard about how there was a free class going on and how I didn't have to buy bagpipes for like probably 6 months.
Yeah.
That seemed like a pretty good option. So,
Nice. Awesome. Well, and we were all really excited when you showed up because, like I say, you learned really fast, and you've been a great stalwart member ever since of the band. But now, as I understand it, Emily, you're picking up snare drum too, right?
yeah. Yep.
How's that feeling? Because I haven't seen you for a while because of the corona and stuff like that. I've been trying to pick up snare myself too, but you're getting some lessons with good old Matt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
he's a great snare drummer, of course. So I'm sure that's top notch instruction. Are you feeling like you're ready to jump into a competition circle, like you're rearing to go at this point?
Getting there.
Awesome.
I mean, I definitely need to practice a lot, but I think for the next season I'd be ready.
Any unexpected insights as a piper going into drumming? Things that have stood out to you?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I mean, as a piper, like a lot of the time, you're kind of focused on playing your own stuff. And you don't know the drum part because, I mean, drum parts are kind of complicated. Um, it's really easy to just focus on what you're doing. Um, and it is kind of easy as, like, I'd noticed this before, like picking up snare, but it's kind of easy to just sort of ignore the drummers and forget the drummers are part of a pipe band.
Sure.
Even though you care about the people,
Yeah,
you
let's
just
be
kind of,
clear. You don't mean
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't
you
mean
care about the
ignore the
people.
people.
It's just easy to
Though it
ignore,
might
like,
feel that way sometimes to them, right?
but it is easy to ignore the drum parts because, it's a pipe band,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, and you're so focused on getting your own part right. I mean, it's like that with any band. I was in Winston Symphony at BYU, and it was so much easier to pay attention to the clarinet part than anything else.
Naturally, yeah.
But yeah, you forget to pay attention to what other people are playing. And I would, I'd kind of think, okay, well, the pipers and drummers aren't together at this part. What can we do to fix that and stuff? As a drummer, I've been playing along with they've been having those rehearsals for the past few weeks with a bunch of people meet together in person, but because of my dad and him being at risk for coronavirus, I haven't been going out into public all that much besides like going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been joining online and noticing that, like, for snares, sometimes it can be kind of hard because sometimes the pipers aren't totally on the beat. And so it's kind of a combined thing that, yeah, snares need to play on the beat, also pipers need to play on the beat.
Yeah.
Also, another thing I've noticed is that, I don't know if this is totally, like, accurate, but I thought it was interesting. If pipers are playing in a 4/4 time signature, you think in terms of, like, 8th notes and 16th notes and that kind of thing. But with snare drum, in a 4/4 time signature, a lot of what you're playing is actually triplets.
Oh, really?
And so, as pipers, they talk about when you play a dot cut rhythm, the dot is held out longer and the cut is shorter, which kind of makes a little bit more sense with what the snares are playing, because the snares aren't playing like an exact dot cut a lot of the time.
That's interesting. I'd never noticed that before, but now you mentioned, I'm just thinking through the common marches, snare part in my head, and yeah, it's a ton of triplets. I've been doing this for over 15 years. I've never even noticed that. Yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, I might be totally off on that, but it seems like maybe instead of a 1/4 of a beat, a 16th note might be more like a 1/6 of a beat.
Interesting. Huh, that's very interesting. So at this point right now, Emily, what's your favorite? You have to choose. Like, you can play both, but, you have to declare loyalty to one team or the other.
If I was going to just pick one, I would do pipes.
Yeah. I've always felt bad that with pipes you get so much more opportunity to do some solo gigs and make a little money to pay for this expensive hobby. One time in all the years I've been doing this did I get a gig for some snares to go play without pipers. It was an ice cream shop that was they were like colonial America themed, and they wanted some like regimental looking drummers. So we sent 2 snares, and I think they both made like $50, and I was like, man, I'm so happy that happened once, but it's too bad it doesn't happen more often.
Yeah.
So, what other stuff? I know that you'd said, now you're gonna have to go to work today, but you mentioned that you were gonna go fishing. What's what kind of role does fishing play in your life?
So with all the coronavirus stuff going on this summer, it's just kind of been a nice way to be able to get out without being around people.
Mm-hmm. But you're around a lot of fish.
Yeah. Yeah, fish can't give you coronavirus, so.
Bonus.
Yeah. My friend and I were out doing a social distancing style 5K, and it was like a scavenger hunt series of 5Ks. You would go do one, and then at that 5K you'd get a clue to go somewhere else and do another 5K. Oh, that sounds awesome. Yeah. So one of them was at Highland Glen Park down by Lone Peak High School.
Yeah, that's a beautiful park.
Yeah. And so we were just kind of going around the lake, and I noticed there were a ton of people like fishing and kayaking and stuff, and thought, that looks fun. Hey, wait a second. I'm an adult. I have a job. I could start doing this. And so ever since, ordering a fishing pole and a kayak online, I've been doing a lot of fishing this summer. It's been really fun.
Oh, you're kayak fishing?
Some of the time.
That sounds really fun. I've never done it myself. That sounds really fun. See, Emily, I'm stuck in a rut because, I had just assumed, Emily must, have grown up fishing, she's got friends and family members who fish, it must be a thing that she's always done. But no, similar to bagpipes, you saw a thing and you were like, that seems cool, I'm going to do it. And you did it. That's cool. That's you're inspiring me a bit here, Emily. I wasn't expecting that to happen this morning.
I had gone fishing a few times before, but yeah, it's been pretty much this summer.
My father-in-law is he's an ichthyologist. To translate that, since I feel really smart using that word, and I wouldn't know it if my father-in-law weren't one. That's just a fish scientist. He actually works there at BYU. He teaches general biology courses, but he does the graduate work that has anything to do with marine biology, ichthyology, etc. is often his stuff.
That's cool. Learned a new word today.
When it comes to fishing, I feel like I'm under a little bit of pressure, honestly, with my father-in-law being a fish doctor. But
yeah,
I can see how it would be very fun as a sort of more relaxing kind of hobby, for sure. So I know our time is a bit short, Emily, but I really want to know real quick, do you have any go-to bagpipe tunes that if you're going to go do a solo gig, I mean, I guess other than a funeral, because of course funerals kind of preclude a few of the, it's kind of like you got your set songs that you do for a funeral. But, if you're just going to go play for fun for somebody or for nobody, what are some of your favorite fun tunes that you like to play?
I mean, as far as, if you mean fun tune as in, fast tune?
Nah,
Steam Train is really fun.
Oh, sure, yeah, Steam Train. Yeah, absolutely. Fast tunes, but also just anything that you think to yourself, I get a lot of enjoyment out of playing this tune.
Yeah. One of my favorite tunes is Suagun.
Oh, it's a Welsh song, right?
Yeah, it's a Welsh lullaby.
Yeah, that song is beautiful.
It's really pretty. We play it in Nauvoo a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually part of the pageant.
Oh, is it?
And
I didn't realize that.
It's just a really pretty song. It's a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, I think the first time that I heard it, you, Jeff, Lizzie, and was there another person who'd gone to Nauvoo who'd learned it, or was it just the three of you?
I know, Danny and Emma.
Oh, yeah, it must have been Danny and Emma as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first time I'd heard that song was when you all came back and played that as a group, and I thought, wow, that's beautiful. And I've since heard like choirs do it and stuff, and it is. That's a beautiful tune. How's it
Mm-hmm.
spelled in case somebody wants to look it up? Do you remember?
The way I've seen it spelled is Suogan.
Gotcha.
It's a pretty
So,
song, especially on bagpipes.
and what do your family members think now? Now that you're, you know, deep in this crazy bagpiping world, do they think you've got kind of a weird obsession, or is everybody way into it?
I think for the most part they're into it. Um, I was at a party one time with some extended family, and my aunt forgot that I play bagpipes, and so she kind of went on about how much she hates the bagpipes. She'd gone to the Pleasanton games one time,
Yeah.
and just hated the fact that there were bagpipes everywhere.
Yeah, well, if you don't like bagpipes, Pleasanton is not a place to be.
Yeah. So
I mean, the games.
did.
I guess Pleasanton in general, most of the
Well,
year is probably fine, but, you know.
yeah, Pleasanton was actually one of my areas on my mission. Most of the time you don't hear bagpipes, but
Right.
yeah. But so I had to kind of tease her about that and say, "Oh, you don't like it when I play bagpipes." I
Oh,
also
no,
was
when
not
you
allowed
play it,
to-
sweetie. When you play, it's great.
No, she didn't say that. She was blunt and said, "Sorry, love you, don't love bagpipes." But yeah, I wasn't allowed to play bagpipes at my grandma's funeral.
You weren't allowed to.
because- No, she also hated bagpipes,
Oh,
and also
that's
my aunt was going to be there. Then also I was kind of new at the time, so it probably would have sounded bad anyway. But
Yeah,
yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny.
that is funny. Um, do you have any member of your family or friend or neighbor who's like a really big fan of it that asks you to bring your bagpipes to everything, that just loves to hear you?
There are some neighbors around, like right around where I live,
Mm-hmm.
that if I practice outside, they'll comment, "Oh, we loved hearing the bagpipes and stuff." There was one day though. This is kind of funny. So I'm used to people only saying something if they like it, right?
Sure.
Because usually people are polite. Uh, so this one day, so my mom, like, especially because she's worked with a lot of the little kids in our area, like church callings and stuff, she'll let little kids come and like play on our playground set in our backyard and stuff. So they know that they can just kind of walk in whenever they want to. So one day I was practicing bagpipes in our backyard, and this little neighbor girl, just kind of walks through the fence, comes in, and just like stares up at me while I'm finishing the song.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was like a couple days before a competition or something, so I was, trying to make sure that I was ready. And I think it was my solo tune or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she comes in, she's just staring at me, and I finished the tune, and I lowered my bagpipes, and I just kind of assumed that she was going to start asking questions like, "What's that?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Oh, that's kind of cool," something like that. No, she says, "Can you stop that? That's really annoying." And so I told her, "Well, no, sorry, I've got a competition coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
I've got to practice." And so she kind of looks down. You can sort of see the wheels turning in her head. And she says, "Okay, well, can you play them quieter then?"
Yeah, of course.
Which, of course, with bagpipes,
Yeah, no, sorry,
you can't.
sweetie.
So I had to tell her, "No, sorry, I'm going to be done soon, though." "Okay." And she walked away.
She left. Oh.
Yeah. So that practice was probably a little bit shorter than it
Mm.
probably would have been, but I thought it was kind of entertaining.
That is funny. I think you're right that usually people only say something if it's something nice, but you get that honesty from kids, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Either that or if they say something that's not super nice, you don't hear it over the sound of your bagpipe.
That's
playing,
true.
so.
That's true. There's an advantage to having the pipes. Sometimes I think that neighbors might be actually an advantage because it seems like bagpipes are probably best enjoyed at approximately that distance.
Yeah.
What does your
Yeah,
dog
that's
think of
probably
it?
He hates it.
Yeah.
He's not as terrified of it as he was at first.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious to find out what he was going to think of it, so I played Scotland the Brave for him, and he ran down the hall, so
Yeah.
kind of felt a little bit bad about that.
Is
but
that the same with the practice chanter or small pipes? Is it just how loud the big ones are, or is it bagpipes in general?
Um, I think it's just how loud the normal bagpipes are.
Yeah.
He seems intrigued, maybe a little bit nervous by the other ones, but yeah, mainly the big bagpipes he doesn't love as much.
I had a bagpipe buddy in high school who he had a tiny dog named Chica, and he could get Chica to howl sing along with him, when he's playing the pipes. That was always fun.
That seems like it'd be fun.
Well, Emily, I gotta let you go so you can get to work. But real quick, before you do you have any favorites to listen to? Any favorite bagpipe groups, bagpipers, be it on YouTube or other recordings or anything like that?
I need to listen more, but Clanedonia is really fun. Clanedonia is really fun to listen to.
Are they the ones that it's like pipes and drums, like primal kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Is it a bunch of old guys with no shirts but they're ripped?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah, they are fun. I want to buy some big drums and get my brothers-in-law or something, to jump on drums with me out in a cow field someday. Just model after is it Caledonia? Clanedonia?
I think it's Clanedonia.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I agree. They are fun. I like
they just get really into it.
They do, right? I totally feel like they're owning it. They're just like, this is what we're doing, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun. You kind of can't help but enjoy listening to what they're doing.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'll let you go, Emily, but we'll do another interview sometime and get some more questions in with you, okay?
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you so much. On your way out, as the sound fades out here, do you have any wise words, like any saged wisdom? It can be bagpipe specific or anything else.
I mean, this might be kind of weird, but the first thing that comes to mind is when a few years ago when my grandma, we knew she was dying. So we had our family and some, like, my aunt and some cousins and anyway, extended family over there. Well, not just my aunt. There's multiple, like, aunts, uncles.
But the bagpipe hating aunt was there.
Yeah, the bagpipe hating aunt. Yeah, exactly. So there were a bunch of us over at my grandma's apartment, just kind of having a going away party sort of thing, because we figured that's what she would probably enjoy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were just kind of having fun talking and stuff, and Grandma was just kind of sitting on her recliner with her eyes shut, just kind of listening in on things. We figured that she'd, want to have positive memories at the end of her life instead of everybody just crying and stuff. So we were kind of joking around, laughing, that kind of thing. And at one point, my dad was sitting on the floor. My grandma's my dad's mom.
Gotcha.
And my dad was just sitting on the floor, and he asks my grandma if she had any, sage words of advice before she passed on.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that she wanted to pass to us before she went. And we all heard him ask that question, so we all kind of settled down, and we were all excited to hear what it was that Grandma wanted, like what profound thing Grandma wanted to tell us before she went away. And she just kind of sits there. I don't think she even opened her eyes for this. Maybe she did, but she just kind of sits there and thinks for a minute. And then she says, "Don't barf on girls. They hate that." And that was it.